Good morning to everyone that's joining us from Canada. It's so great to have you here. This is our first Sign Up for Portugal webinar from the series that we are hosting. So we're really great that we're starting off with Canada. The reason we're doing these different webinars was specifically to help international entrepreneurs who are looking to move to Portugal, to relocate, to start a company. We'll be hosting a variety of these different kind of companies. Sorry, there's another screen that's just popped up. I'll continue. So yeah, we're just very grateful and glad that you're able to join us. I'm going to be handing over to Andre. He's going to be hosting the event, and he's going to introduce the various different speakers from the actors in our Portuguese social startup ecosystem. Andre, yeah, over to you.
Thank you, Steph. So you've pretty much shared all we need to know about this webinar. I'll be the host. Obviously, before we start, I just want to prompt you guys to jump into the Q&A box and ask all the questions to our guests. They'll be the perfect people to help you if you're looking to relocate to Europe or to Portugal more specifically. So please feel free to do so and go crazy in that Q&A chat box and drop all your questions. And once again, thank you for joining us. So to start this webinar in the best possible way, we'll start with Lisbon, obviously is our capital. So I would like to invite on stage Diogo with Cruz from Invest Lisboa. Diogo, if you can turn on the camera and join us here on the big screen, it would be great. And well, I'll leave the introduction for yourself. You know better who you are than I do. So the stage is yours, and thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me to be here. It's a great opportunity and a great honor. My name is Diogo. I'm from Invest Lisboa. I'm a project director at Invest Lisboa. And actually, I'm just going to put some slides up and explain you a little bit about Invest Lisboa and about Lisbon. So, this presentation will be very short. I'm going to talk a little bit about Lisbon, present a film that we made for Web Summit 2019. That it's a kind of introductory moment about Lisbon. And then, of course, I'll be available to answer all questions necessary. I know that the people talking after me will also explain a lot of the details and the important parts of how to do business and how to set up company and what's the advantages that Lisbon has to offer. Lisbon, Portugal, sorry. I'm from the Investment Promotion Agency of Lisbon, so I'm very focused on Lisbon. But what Portugal has to offer startups, which is a lot, I will focus on Lisbon. But first of all, Invest Lisboa, we are the investment promotion agency of the city of Lisbon. We exist since 2009. We are not focused only on startups. We are focused on promoting Lisbon as an investment destination. We talk to investors, to business, to talents, and promote Lisbon as a place to be. We try to explain and what Lisbon has to offer, which is, as I mentioned, a lot. And then we also have some support services, which is basically a one-to-one conversation. I try to understand what you need, what are your drivers. I'll explain about Lisbon, and then together we can see if Lisbon makes sense for your business, Lisbon, Portugal, Europe, if it makes sense, if it's a good situation for you, if it's win-win, and then you can decide. Being better informed, make a better informed decision about coming here. And if you decide coming here, we will keep on supporting you with advice, information, sharing our contacts, finding premises for you to stay, talking about incentives and the programs that we will hear on the speakers next after me. We can have a one-to-one conversation and talk about all that. Now, Lisbon for startups has been very, very fortunately, we have been on the hotspot of attracting lots of companies. These are some paper clips from all over Europe and all over the world. The hottest startups is in Lisbon, why Lisbon is Europe's best work and play capital. Lisbon has been why startups are blooming in Lisbon capital, but are not only startups that are coming here. Very large companies are also setting up here their tech-based units. Volkswagen, Mercedes, Amazon, Google's. So you can see lots of companies are coming here. And the big question is, why is Lisbon so strong and attracting so many companies? I have here, as I mentioned, a small film, 2-minute film, gives a good introduction about what's happening in Lisbon, and then I'll have a small conversation about the 3 main factors that I think are most important in the startup ecosystem.
Why do so many investors fall in love with Lisboa? Easy, there's no other city that combines this beautiful view with the beauty of these numbers. Lisboa is the closest European capital to the United States, South America and Africa, with 250 departures every day, and being the only capital in mainland Europe sharing the same time zone with the British capital, with more than 300 days of sunshine throughout the year. Lisboa is surrounded by more than 20 wonderful golf courses, only 4 train stations away from the beach, and just 1-hour drive from Nazaré, home of the biggest waves on the planet. Selected to be the 2020 European Green Capital, Lisboa transforms ecological concerns into reality, being the first European city to have a municipal fleet where 100% of light vehicles are electric, a huge recharging network with more than 540 stations, and 100% of the city lights running with LED technology. Innovation and adaptation are part of the mindset, with 90 colleges that produce 30,000 graduates a year, with 60% of them in business, tech or math degrees. No wonder Lisboa attracts global investment from all around the globe into our entrepreneurial community, an ecosystem dedicated to helping new businesses where 2 new startups are created every day. With more than 100 co-working spaces spread all over Lisboa, and with a 90-kilometer bike lane that reaches all corners of the city. It's so easy to enjoy the view commuting to work using one of the 2,150 shared bikes and 5,500 soft mobility vehicles. How about this? Lisboa is well known as a city that embraces diversity and welcomes all kinds of races, ethnicities and religious beliefs. All that in a city with 7 Michelin-starred restaurants, and this sunset included. So, how about investing in Lisboa? Lisboa, the beautiful side of business.
So as I mentioned, I got back to this slide because this is the takeaway that I would like you to have. This one, in that video, the 3 main factors I would say are most important for startups that we have to offer is 1, talent availability. Lisbon not only produces and is the largest university city in Portugal, and produces every year a lot of very high quality engineers and software engineers, programmers, etc. Lisbon, after Berlin, in terms of STEAM courses per capita, is the second largest producer of STEAM degrees after Berlin, as I mentioned. So the universities here are very good. They provide a lot of very good local talent that is recognized in international rankings. But also, it's very easy to recruit internationally based here from Lisbon, because the city has a lot of there's a great quality of living. Is well known for being welcoming, for being a great place to live, and that's been attracting a lot of high qualified people. So many companies are setting up here for the main reason that it's easier, not easy, but very much more easy to attract talented people for their projects based here in Lisbon than it is based on other locations. We have many examples of companies, small and large, that move here because when they present a job opportunity here, based here in Lisbon, get much more candidates that they would have and that they have for their other locations where they are present. So I would say talent availability is one of the main points that's been attracting so many people, especially in the tech sector. The second point I would emphasize is the ecosystem that we have here. The startup ecosystem in Lisbon is very dynamic, it's very international, it's very strong, and it's a great opportunity to be in a location where you will find lots of people like you, lots of people that are focused on innovation, on creation, on growing together. And so it's very easy here to discuss ideas and to grow and innovate and create new things here, because all the environment is set up to that to do that. The startup ecosystem is one of the priorities of the government. It was set up as an objective to have the startup sector contributing to at least 2% of the GDP. So the government not only set up this objective, but also create a lot of programs and incentives to help get there. And we will talk about it during this section for the next speakers. So talent availability, the creative, innovative, and support system that we have set up here in Lisbon. And another point I want to mention is that it's the cost efficiency, which is not the same as low cost. We are not a low cost place, but we are definitely a location where your funds and your finances will buy you more. It's much more efficient. With the same amount of money, you can buy much more, and your company can have much more resources available with the same investment available. You can buy here a lot, much more, with the same quality as you can find in other locations. So the fourth message I would like to leave you today is that if you have any questions, any doubts, if you want to explore Lisbon, if Lisbon makes sense for you, if you want information to make an informed decision about Lisbon and Europe, please contact me. That's why we are here. I have here my email, and I'm completely available for any questions you can do now or later by email. So thank you very much. And I will return the floor to Andre.
Thank you, Diogo. Thank you for your presentation. Remember, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A box. Now, I would like to call on stage Pedro from Bridgin, which is a company focused on onboarding entrepreneurs and startups into the Portuguese ecosystem. Pedro, you'd be the better person to talk about it, so I will leave the stage to you. And thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Good afternoon, everyone, and well, morning if you're calling from Canada. I'm quite excited to be in this session and glad that got this invitation from Startup Portugal, and also to be followed by this distinguished panel of speakers. So indeed, Pedro, founder and CEO of Bridgin, software engineer by training, father of three, have worked in many different companies as a senior manager, being the last in Austin, Texas. So I'll try to share a bit of what is my understanding, particularly in the connection between North America and Portugal, or the entry to Europe through Portugal. What we do at Bridgin, and I'll start by sharing my screen. I'll try to focus. Obviously, you'll hear a lot of things here pretty similar. I think that's a good sign. Probably just a confirmation. Just a second. All right. So always a confirmation that it is true when you hear multiple people saying it. But what we do at Bridgin really is, as Andrea said, is to help companies and individuals that want to have a decentralized organization. And a lot of this is to start exploring the European market through a hub in Portugal. We believe is a very good and wise decision. And we can help particularly tech businesses to do that, either from a team scaling perspective, but also to deal with all the, well, more boring, but also important stuff regarding legal and tax compliance and all. So obviously we are talking here in the context of this sign up for Portugal. So hopefully you will hear good things and get excited coming to Portugal. But why Portugal? So I'll start with some key data points that no doubt probably some of the other speakers after me might reinforce. But this is our own take. We believe that you should, as you're looking to expand, again, either if it's a personal decision or if it's a decision for the sake of the business, we believe that Portugal is a great destination. Key reasons why that is on a personal level, it is the third safest country in the world. So that's obviously quite important. It is a very stable democracy. There is a rising, unfortunately, in some countries in autocratization and some nationalist movements. We have been staying gladly away from that. And that has not an impact not only at people individually, but obviously as companies, because, well, companies are made of people, right? So you want to be in a place where your employees or contributors like to be at. So again, thriving, secure democracy, very important. The other one is the location. This chart here, the image that you should be seeing on the right, were the direct flights we had. Obviously, COVID kind of threw a wrench into this, but these were the direct flights that we had not long ago that connected really Lisbon to, well, most of Europe, North America, but also South America and Africa. Portugal does have an historical relationship, obviously, with Brazil, Angola, Mozambique, and so we still have a lot of that diaspora and also direct flights. And obviously, we do have Portugal. There is a strong community as well in Canada, and also one of the reasons where we had direct flights for Toronto and Montreal. I believe that the Portuguese community in Canada is typically very well received and recognized as good, solid, and serious workers. And that's pretty much also what you'll find if you do decide to come to Portugal. A community, a talent pool that really focus on achieving things and work and have good work ethic and culture. On location, obviously, when I was talking earlier about myself working with a lot of companies in North America, it is important that a lot of times when you consider Europe is an important market, actually the biggest market, the single market as a whole, but is also somewhat fragmented, right? You have different countries, you do have different languages, laws also vary a bit, although they are under the same umbrella of the European Union, but obviously it's quite different from considering the Canada and the United States. What we believe Portugal excels is being a very cost-effective, as Diogo put it, a location in Western Europe to be able to use as a springboard to the rest of Europe. You'll find a high English proficiency, which is very important. You'll see here that we are only behind really the native-speaking countries and the Nordics. Other than that, we are pretty much ranked 7 in English proficiency. That's obviously very, very important. And when you compare that with other countries, notably other countries in South of Europe, we are very, very ahead of them in English skills. What that means in practical terms is that you can come in, talk in English with everyone, particularly the major cities, but you can conduct your business in English. You can hire people in English. You can even get some paperwork from the government in English. So it's very easy to do and run your business, even if you don't speak the local language. Other things here, important, more on the personal side, quality of life, obviously is important. Portugal has been on the news for many, many years now as a top touristic destination. And that is because it's obviously good weather, great food, very welcoming, but also the quality of life. If you do choose to stay longer, there's tons of tops where we are ranking very favorably. Quality of life is very strong. Feeling at home, being personal happy is among the things that you do see here. So again, because companies are made of people, it is great that Portugal could be that location where you and your team, your people are happy. Quite important. Diogo also mentioned this a bit. It's the talent, it's the skills of the talent, right? So again, I won't go into too much detail here, but indeed Portugal spends actually the 5th country in the world that spends more on education. Our public education system is very, very strong. We have a lot of people graduating in STEM, science, technology, math. That also points, although obviously Portugal is not the country in Europe with the biggest population, we do have a big percentage of it that is highly skilled in tech. And actually in some of these, we are ahead of other countries that sometimes we do consider more developed, like particularly the United States. Maybe I have some, well, doesn't matter. Let's talk about opportunities for Canadian startups. So just if anything you take home from this session, I think it will be one of these 3, or hopefully the four. So first of all, stability. Already mentioned this, very stable country. Unfortunately, that has not been the case with some other countries, including in Europe. This is quite important. Portugal also has a very high human development index. So that's, we believe, a key takeaway. The other is the location. So a bridge, an interesting position from North America to Europe, or actually the other way around also. Then the talent, top education, STEM, but also quite important, I haven't mentioned this, because Portugal has such a good quality of life, Portugal is very welcoming and very easy to attract talent here. So some companies, obviously important names like Cloudflare that has a big office, their CTO moved to Lisbon. Part of what they argue and discuss, and this is particularly, I know this particularly because we had an event back with them a few months ago, they mentioned Portugal is not just the ability to hire locally, it is also the ability to convince people elsewhere in Europe to relocate if necessary. Obviously, this is considering a world where people typically still work on an office. Maybe that's not even the case for most companies in the future, but you do have that. You do have the chance to attract people to come and live in Portugal. And finally, also very important, cultural alignment is quite relevant. Obviously, Portugal and Canada are not the same, but we are very similar in a lot of important things. It is Western-based culture. Portugal have really good English skills. We do have a very welcoming nature. And so it will feel, that's why people feel right at home when they are here, but that's also important when we have teams that you need to, communicate and integrate. You don't see them as sometimes hard to engage or permeate culture across your multiple locations. It is fairly simple because we are very, very close to a lot of what is happening. And, even a practical example, even the movies and series and all of that, you can have a team here that watches the same movies, the same series on Netflix and all of that as possibly your team in Canada. So very, very close culturally speaking. And that's also another key advantage. And sometimes a key finding that some of the companies we work with find when they start their teams in Europe. So 4 things to take home. Portugal could be great because of this. It is location, is talent, is the cultural, and it is the stability of the country. Very quickly, how do we help companies? We can help with soft landing. So all the bureaucratic stuff, help incorporate the company, help understand what are the different options, tax, all of that. Obviously not tax advisor, but we can recommend some. Some other companies we've been working as employer of record. So sometimes you just want to have a few folks here, but not necessarily incorporate. We can have that as well. Studies regarding market entry and relocation as well. Understand what you need to do, namely visas, resident permits, non-habitual resident tax regime is all things that is on our bag of tricks. And lastly, obviously, feel free to reach out. That's pedro@bridgin.pt. I would be happy to talk with anyone that wants to know more. So that's all for me. Hopefully this was insightful. Back to you, Andre.
Thank you, Pedro. Thank you for joining us and for your clear presentation. I want just to add something to what you said regarding the speaking English part. Actually, we're ranking 7th on the English proficiency index at this point, which is really cool. 7th worldwide. So yeah, this just to say you're completely right. Portuguese people are really ready to go global, and this is a great place to get a company going. Now, to going for the most operative part, I'd say I would like to invite on stage José Val from our partners at IAPMEI. José, and then following Angela, we'll talk about startup visa and tech visas, which are visa programs set up for entrepreneurs and for highly educated professionals to come to Portugal. But I will let José go into detail on this, since José is obviously the best person to do so. So thank you, José, for joining us, and the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Andre, and hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here. I think I'm already, are you seeing my PowerPoint now? It's a great pleasure to be here. And my colleague Angela and Sandra is with us also today. But we are going to we come from IAPMEI. That's our National Institute for the Support of SMEs and Entrepreneurship, and we are going to explain what is the startup visa. I must say that we are very interested in getting even more talent that we are producing here, as Diogo and Pedro said, and we want you to come to Portugal. But to come to Portugal, you need, once that you are not in the Schengen area, obviously that you need a visa, and that's why for getting that particular talents that we created the startup visa program. Okay. So this is a host program for entrepreneurs, as I told you, for those that want to create an innovative project in Portugal. So we're speaking about high-skilled persons. So this applies to two kinds of situations. The first one is just the entrepreneurs that have an idea for that entrepreneurial project in Portugal, but they haven't yet created a company. And the second situation is for people who has already a business project in his own country and wants to come also to Portugal. So we have a movie a short movie to explain this the startup visa also in the YouTube channel, and obviously that we have English versions in all that we are saying here, and manuals, and so to you to get easier to find information about that. This you are going to apply through a platform. That's the aspect of it, and you only need these documents to be uploaded, the passport, tax identification number, social security, and so on, and your CV, of course. So it's really a rather easier mode to apply to the startup visa. So this means that you are going to have a link with an incubator, or it is necessary to have that link. So the first step is that demonstration of interest from one incubator. So you have to send a motivation letter to 1 or 2 or 3 incubators that are interesting for your situation, and to show them that you want to come to Portugal. So you are going to do this on an online platform, and you are going to enhance the innovative nature of project. Once that this startup visa, I must say again, this is a situation for high-skilled people. We want really very good talent, to find the talent that we are not producing here enough. We produce very good talent, as Diogo and Pedro said, but we need even more and more. So in your project, to show the innovative nature, as I said, growth potential, scalability, and obviously what is the perspective to come to Portugal. So after that, in the second step, you are going to submit the application to IAPMEI after a favorable declaration of a list 1 incubator, of course, and you are going to submit that. So IAPMEI has, in terms of this is crucial for your process. That's the time that it takes to get your visa. So that's the major question that you always are asking us, is that we have 30 working days from the submission to have our opinion about your project. And if it's favorable, what we hope so, the candidate has 40 working days to conclude the incubation contract also. After that, this is there is a declaration that is going to be issued to the entrepreneurs in terms to certify there is a great interest to you to come to Portugal, and you are in order to initiate the visa application. So this is a mode to show what is the role of the entrepreneurs from your left side, and from the right side you have the process from the incubators in terms to get to this part of the submission. So we have till now almost 2,000 records from the platform from 117 countries, and Brazil is the winner indeed because of the language, because they are a very good talent factory in the world. And after we have India, we also have Russia and Iran in terms to getting in record. These are records. So till this moment, we have the program has let's say 2 years. We have 300 applications submitted, and also from the major parts from Brazil, and the half of it they have a favorable decision. So I must say that we need you from Canada. Once that we just have 2 projects closed here from Canada, and it is and probably we have other intentions, but in a closed mode, just 2 projects from Canada has come to Portugal till now. So we want you here. So the doubts are in this mini guide of application. You can direct that doubts to us through that email that you have in the upper parts, and we want you to really to come. This is I explained to you the aspect of the technical part of it, and then when you have when we will have the declaration of interest from us, you are going to start your process close to the foreign services in order to get the startup visa, that special visa that is really faster, and there is a qualified visa to you to come to Portugal. So this time, and sorry for the first part in which we had this technical issue. So the floor is yours now, Angela, and thank you, and sorry for interrupt you in the very beginning. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning, Canada. Good afternoon, Portugal. My name is Angela Pacheco. I'm going to share. Let's see. So my name is Angela Pacheco, and I work at IAPMEI at the Investment for Innovation and Business Competitiveness Unit. And I'm here today to talk about Tech Visa, an initiative of Startup Portugal strategy for entrepreneurship. Okay, so Tech Visa was built by benchmarking existing visa programs and by checking on the needs of companies. It's not a type of visa, it's a certification program. that aims to answer to the increased need of highly qualified workers by companies established in Portugal, whether they are startups, foreign direct investment, or more traditional companies. With this certification, companies may recruit highly qualified workers from outside the European Union in an easier way, in a quicker way, with less bureaucracy in visa and residence permit procedures. Here we can see how does it work, the global process. So with tech visa certification, a company can recruit many tech visa workers by issuing a liability term for each highly qualified foreign worker that the company wants to hire. So, but it has a limit up to 50% of its workforce, or 80% if the company is located inland. With the tech visa liability term issued by the certified company, the highly qualified worker can request his or her visa without the need of having, for instance, a previously signed work contract. Companies using tech visa are reporting reduced visa issuance time of up to 1/3 of the time usually needed. IAPMEI is responsible for the tech visa certification program, and when needed, so we interact mostly with companies, but when needed, we act as a facilitator of the process with the consulates and the Portuguese Immigration and Borders Service. Okay. Here we can see the certification requirements. So companies that apply for tech visa program must comply with these requirements. Companies must be established and legally incorporated in Portugal, develop an international tradable goods and services activity, get a positive assessment in business potential and orientation towards international markets, amongst others. Since January 2019 up until today, we have certified 348 companies. The application, like startup visa, this application is also submitted online at iapmei.pt. If all the requirements are fulfilled, the certification is granted, and it's granted in less than a month, valid for 2 years and renewable for equal periods. Tech visa certification can boost the company's capacity to recruit highly qualified workers outside the European Union, and highly skilled workers can search for job opportunities in Portugal by addressing, for instance, the tech visa companies listed at iapmei.pt. When companies issue a tech visa liability term, they must ensure compliance with the worker's requirements, namely that the future worker is highly qualified by having, for example, a university degree. Other requirements are quite obvious, like having at least 18 years old, being national of a third country, not residing in the European Union, having no criminal record, or a proficiency in English, Portuguese, French, or Spanish. By issuing a liability term, the company commits to sign a 12-month work contract with a wage higher than 1,096 euros. That's 2.5 times the value established for the social support index, and this value is updated every year. Since February 2019, certified tech visa companies have recruited almost 2,100 highly skilled workers. Also, like in startup visa, these highly qualified workers are mostly from Brazil, but we have citizens from all over the world, like India, Morocco, Argentina, USA, and also from Canada. 91% of the highly skilled workers are qualified in IT areas, although we welcome highly skilled workers from all areas, of course. At last, these are some of the Tech Visa certified companies. We have startups like Farfetch, Feedzai, and Babel or Talkdesk. We have large foreign direct investment like Mercedes, Volkswagen, Bosch, Siemens, or Altran. And we have more traditional companies like Bial, Alvim, or Navigator. So thank you for listening. I will be available then for any question you may have. And now, André.
Thank you, Angela, for your presentation.
Thank you.
And thank you, Jose, as well. Now that we know all details regarding the visa programs, I think that we can move forward. I would like to call on stage Pedro from Landing Jobs. Pedro, the stage is yours. I think you're the right person, as I've been saying, to introduce yourself. So go ahead.
Exactly. Thank you very much, André. Thank you very much to Startup Portugal for the invite. So let me just start sharing as well. Just give me a nudge, checking that you can see my screen.
We can.
Amazing. So hello, everyone. Good morning in America. Good afternoon in Europe. My name is Pedro. I am working at Landing Jobs. Landing Jobs is the biggest tech marketplace in Portugal. Some things about me. Well, I have been working for around 5 years. I'm probably the youngest in the room, I think. I have 5 years supporting tech teams, from sourcing and staffing them to consultancy and managing their accounts and marketplaces. I actually didn't want to end up in tech recruiting, but well, I joined in 2016, and what a time to be alive in tech recruiting in the last 5 years. I mean, we have witnessed a huge boom, and Portugal has definitely witnessed big growth in terms of demand from international companies. In our opinion, and I'll try to make this introduction short. I mean, I'm standing in the shoulders of giants. Great context made so far, both on the reasons to come to Portugal and the mechanisms that we have for new companies to come aboard. I mean, at the moment, IT is key to the success of companies. I will focus my presentation on IT and on tech, because that's pretty much what Landing Jobs is all about. If before a bank could have had a support IT team, an outsourced IT team, at the moment, the IT part of the bank is the core of the bank. And when I say a bank, I say cars, I say fashion, e-commerce, of course, commerce as a whole. And so we know how much these needs have been growing, and we know how difficult it is to recruit on a global scale. And that's why companies need to think globally and to build hubs around the world, which are able to fuel their growth. So this is something that I would also like to have. I think it was briefly mentioned in the video by Invest Lisboa. Portugal is very centrally located for any hub in the United States or Canada or Brazil, even going back to Asia. So when we see the time spans that Portugal is able to cover during workday, you can see how effective and how cost saving it might be to set up your hub here. A lot of these have been mentioned already. I mean, from the great English proficiency to 3,000 more or less hours of sunshine per year. Even today, I believe we were expecting a storm this week, and most of the week it was pretty much pleasant. And so the quality of life is great. The low cost of living, while I must also acknowledge it has been increasing definitely, but it is also quite low when compared with the rest of Europe. Safety and stability, as Pedro also mentioned, I mean, Portugal is definitely a peaceful country, a safe country for anyone living here. Strategic location, as I mentioned, and the fact that indeed, and we have seen some logos before, and I will give you some more logos in some minutes, which is the number of companies setting up centers here, which in the end creates these kind of hubs and synergies and magnets, talent magnets that end up benefiting us all. I mean, we had Silicon Valley, and who knows if we'll have, I don't know, the Pastel de Nata Valley or the Cork Valley coming up in Lisbon sometime from now. We have tech talent, we have a lot of tech talent, not only tech, the science and engineering part, also tech support areas like business and maths, as we have already mentioned, affordable salaries. I mean, if you recruit throughout Europe, you often have to compromise on either paying higher salaries or having or struggling a bit more to find quality talent. And in the end, Portugal offers you quite the trade-off. And in the end, we make it easy for you. I mean, we're here, right? We're in a webinar aimed specifically at Canadian companies who want to come to Portugal. So we are really not only welcoming tourists, but also really keen on attracting more and more companies to coming to Portugal. In landing jobs, as I mentioned, we are the biggest tech jobs marketplace in Portugal. We have a community with over 30,000 tech professionals. Every year we carry out a study to understand how the tech scene and the tech job market and talent market has been changing. So these are some of the numbers that we have gathered from a survey with over 4,000 answers. We see that pretty much all of the tech profiles are developers. So full stack, backend, frontend, you will find them in Portugal. I won't say easily, okay, just let's get our expectations aligned, but definitely if you're looking for developers, Portugal has a lot to offer, and we are seeing a lot of projects which are also contributing to increasing the talent pool in Portugal. This is a salary table. So, and by the way, this is all taken from our ebook, Hiring in Portugal. If you go on your address bar, hiringinportugal.com, it's that easy. You'll find a book with all this information and much more. So you can see more or less how the salaries are in Portugal. And I mean, if I had a comparison here with London or with Berlin, I mean, the difference will be totally overwhelming. And of course, these are market averages. So definitely, if you're talking about product companies or international companies, they are on the upper end of this table. But at the end of the day, you'll definitely see that you are able to hire pretty much any profile without jeopardizing quality at a lower cost than maybe in Canada, in the US, in the UK, in Germany, you name it. So now, I'll try to wrap up, not meaning to sell too much, just to let you know, landing jobs helps companies building their teams. And this comes both in the hiring part, so making sure that you create your brand and create your footstep in the tech jobs marketplace. Here they are, some of the logos that always help. I mean, we have helped Volkswagen build their tech hub in Portugal. We have helped Sky scale their team from just a project to the great tech center that they have in Portugal at the moment. We have helped Cloudflare creating their tech awareness in Portugal, amongst so many others that we've helped even in Portugal itself. We also help you with workforce payments. We want to make sure there's no reason you can't start hiring in Portugal today. And we also connect you with local partners. I mean, Startup Portugal, IAPMEI, yeah, not IAPMEI yet, but definitely a lot of others that we can also connect you with, Royal Tax for your invoicing and for accounting. And so we want you to land as soon as possible and as smoothly as possible. So then just a bit about us. As I mentioned, we are a global marketplace. We're not only in Portugal, we're also in Germany and Spain. So a bit more expensive if you ask me. I'm the head of business for Portugal, so but we definitely can help you there as well. And in the end, this is what we offer. So we go from the attraction of the talent community, not only in Portugal, also in Brazil, for example, as Angela mentioned. We have a very strong community there in case you want to get your tech visa and start also attracting talent from Brazil to increase your talent pool. We pre-screen and evaluate every candidate that reaches you, and like other job boards that you may be using. And in the end, we are a product. So in the end, we are tailored to the way that you want us to work. You want self-service, you go self-service. You want us to babysit you along the way, we'll gladly do so. We have excellent account managers / babysitters. And so I think that's pretty much it. I really don't want to take much more of your time. I'll just end maybe with this very Portuguese expression, quem não arrisca não petisca, which basically means if you don't risk it, you won't see the returns of it. So take the risk and come to Portugal.
Thank you, Pedro. I think we wouldn't say it any better. It's a risk worth taking, definitely. And now to close the webinar with another Pedro, I will call on stage Pedro Silveira from AICEP, which is the Portuguese trade agency. Pedro, the stage is yours. As I've been saying, introductions are all up to you. I think you'll be doing a way better job than I will. So feel free to go on.
Okay, thank you, Andre. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Startup Portugal, for inviting me, for giving me the opportunity to speak about Portugal as an investment destination, and also to explain to you what AICEP is and what we do. So I want to share my screen. Can you see the screen?
We can.
Yeah, okay. Well, let me just first explain to you, well, I'm part of the commercial department of AICEP. AICEP is a governmental entity. We are part of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We are, like IAPMEI, a national agency, and we have two main objectives. The first one, we support Portuguese companies in their internationalization strategies. The other big object that we have is to promote the foreign direct investment in Portugal, typically from big companies and big projects. So when we are also responsible for the first point of contact of any kind of foreign company that comes to Portugal through our delegations that we have spread out throughout the world. We have more than 50 delegations that, they try to attract foreign direct investors to Portugal. So usually when we speak to the companies, when the company is a big company and the project is a big project, we are responsible for dealing with the whole process. When the company is small, for example, a small and medium company or even a startup, we speak with them for the first time. The first point of contact is AICEP, and then we put them in contact with other entities in Portugal that are responsible for supporting those kinds of companies. And other entities are, for example, an incubator, or for example, Startup Portugal. So we have a good relationships with these Portuguese agencies, other entities, and we all connect really well in terms of attracting the investment to Portugal. So I have made I have here some ideas about Portugal as an investment destination, but well, everybody almost everybody was speaking about them, so I'm going to be brief because I'm not going to repeat what has been said today. So these are some statements of quite interesting organizations that have spoken about Portugal and about Portugal as an investment destination. So we are, as a national agency, we cannot prefer a city to others. So for us, if a company invests in Lisbon or in Porto, is exactly the same. We just want to attract the investment to Portugal. And speaking about investments, these are we have more or less 80 big players with international operations here in Portugal. And they are very concentrated in Lisbon and in Porto. Porto is the second biggest city in Portugal, up to the north. And on the right-hand side, you can see some examples of these big companies that have invested here, that have very good, successful operations in Portugal. We have some track records, recent technology-based operations that have been implemented here. These are some examples. We have more, but as you can see, many of them are big companies. I would like to highlight, for example, the BMW operation they built together in partnership with a Portuguese company, an automotive software engineering center, and it's going really well. I'm not going to speak about this because, it has been described here today. We have a very good strategic location. We have, our access to European markets, and we are also considered a bridge to Portuguese-speaking markets. Also, we have, of course, the talent that, in my opinion, is the biggest aspect, the most important aspect of Portugal as an investment destination. We have good people working here, very hardworking, and it's very interesting to hear those big companies when they invest here, when they are with the operations working here for some time, they all speak very well about the productiveness of the Portuguese workers. Some more figures about, more talent, students and graduates. These are the figures regarding these kind of areas: engineering, IT, maths and science, and finance and business administration. So, as André said, we are actually in seventh place in terms of proficiency index. We are, almost everybody speaks English here, so, and the proficiency is very good. We have been considered a strong innovator. This is from the last year, the end of last year. When compared to other European countries, we are ranked in 12th in terms of innovation. Although we are a small country, we can say that we have already 4 unicorns. And this is only speaking well about the startup ecosystem here. Not only these 4 unicorns, we have many more good examples of success stories of startups that are based here in Portugal. And these are some of the areas that we gather information about startups and that we sometimes show to big companies that are looking at Portugal to invest. They are always very interested in understanding what kind of startups we have in various areas like this one, these 6 that I've highlighted here. Well, the Portuguese government is also making a big effort in the digital transition. The government plan is very, very, it has 3 main pillars about this digital transition. Training and digital inclusion of people, digital transformation of enterprises, and digitalization of the state. So it's really important for the Portuguese government, this digital transformation. Another aspect regarding Portugal as an investment destination is our telecommunications network that is very reliable. mainly our broadband system, broadband network, is always said to be very reliable with almost no drops in signal. So this is also very important for some big companies that have installed here, that have started operations here, and that consider the broadband network to be very important for their operations. These are our possible locations. Of course, we have many incubators spread out throughout the country. On the top, we have Startup Portugal, that is responsible for the national network of incubators, and we have more than 150 that can speak with the startups that are coming from abroad, not only Lisbon, but of course many other cities in Portugal. This 200 million program is a fund. It's a co-investment fund where companies can benefit from investment from investors, and the investors can benefit from the co-investment of this program. So if an investor wants to invest, for example, 1 million euro in a startup, the fund invests another 1 million euro. So this is quite interesting, not only for the startups that are financed by this, but also for the potential investors. Many of them come from abroad. On the right-hand side, you can see the figures of this program that is 2 years old. So, and it's going to be open at least until 2022. These are some examples of tech events that have been happening here in Portugal. Of course, Web Summit is on the top of the list every time. But we also had, for example, last year, a very important two-day event here about VR and AR Global Summit that gathered really good companies here, and it was a success. Quality of life, it has been said enough today, I think, about this. It's really interesting to hear the foreigners when they come here, when they start an operation here, when they start living here, what they say about the quality of life in Portugal. It's always very positive. And last but not least, well, AICEP, as I said in the beginning, is also responsible for the support of internationalization of Portuguese companies. Well, when the company starts the operation here and then wants to expand to other countries, we have our delegations that can support companies expanding the activities, exporting more, or even investing in other countries. So this is also a job of AICEP. We have a very tailor-made support by a key account manager that follows the company and that tries to understand the needs of the company when it is established here in Portugal and when it wants to go to other countries to expand the activities. So we have 3 levels of support: information, training, always thinking about the internationalization strategies, and also incentives. AICEP is also responsible for managing the incentives of the internationalization processes of companies. So this is what I had for you today. I hope you like it. So.
Thank you, Pedro, and thank you in name of Startup Portugal for representing AICEP. And from what I'm seeing, we have no questions. So I think this is pretty much the end of the webinar. So I would like to call on stage Stephanie from Startup Portugal, who will be doing the closing remarks. And well, thank you all for joining us. That's me. Steph, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Andre. Also, just wanted to extend a great thank you to all the speakers who took time off your day to come and join us. It was very informative. Also want to thank the attendees. I just want to say, if they have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We have our one-stop shop on the Startup Portugal platform, specifically developed to help answer any questions that you might have. And we can also put you in contact with the speakers that presented today. So again, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.